Brothers and sisters, to the Meher Baba program. I'm in friend Stankus, along with my co-host Suhas Ginde. I'm so happy to see you, Suhas.
Thank you.
Today's program is a continuation of a series that we've been featuring on Time Warner Cable, and that is the Lord Meher biography of Avatar Meher Baba. It's a 20-volume epic publication, published by Bhau Kalchuri, I should say authored by Bhau Kalchuri, published by Hermes Writer of Manifestation Incorporated in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This book talks about Baba's life, and we pick up volumes 11 and 12, covering the years 1952 to 1954. And there is a time when Baba is in India. He's returned back from the United States, where a tremendous accident occurred in the heartland of America in 1952 in May, actually it was May 24th, where Baba was really injured badly. And so now he's in India, it's September of 1952, and he's recuperating. And in fact, I have a photograph here that would be nice to basically show Baba in a seated position, beaming he's got, I don't know if you can see, there's any kind of a cast noticeable, but he's there in India, and that's Meher Baba. But anyway, Suhas, we begin with this incident, or this situation where Baba is at Meherabad.
He's back home.
He's back home, Meherabad, you could say the residence on the ashram for his close followers, and a visitor arrives. Maybe you could pick up on that and see what it...
Yeah, this is a very interesting story about an incident with Baba and one of his devotees. So the day after Baba's return, a taxi from Ahmednagar pulled up and stopped at Meherazad. This is the place where Baba used to live. In the car were Rangole, Lakshmi Kant Thade, and Subhadra of Pune.
So can you tell me if they're male or female? Lakshmi sounds female.
Subhadra, no, Lakshmi Kant is male, and Subhadra is female.
Oh, okay.
Rangole is probably the last name of a devotee. Anyway, they were followers of his from Pune, maybe about 120 miles away. Subhadra looked like a skeleton.
A woman?
Yes. She was in the third stage of tuberculosis, and the doctor had given up hope of her surviving.
You know what's amazing? Tuberculosis in the 50s was very rampant around the world. Remember TB? They used to call it TB.
Yeah.
And in India, it was really, I guess, an epidemic almost.
Yeah, it affects the respiratory system. Unknowns to her parents, she had quietly slipped out of the house and traveled from Pune alone. This lady. Baidul, a disciple, a monthly member of Baba, was on watch outside the gate, and according to Baba's order, he told them to go back, return back to Pune. Baba had stopped seeing people, and Baidul was posted to make certain no one came.
So there was a restriction at that time.
Yeah, nobody.
Baba usually would be very, very much available, but he then suddenly went into what they could call
this was in 52.
He went into a seclusion after the accident.
Yeah, later.
Recuperating.
But at this time he was recuperating from the first accident. In Oklahoma. Right. The second hadn't occurred yet. Right. It came later. Baba had stopped seeing people, and Baidu was posted to make certain no one came. Thade and Rangole requested him to inform Baba, but following his orders, Baidul again requested them to leave. During the arrival of the taxi, Baba sent Kaka Baria, another one of his Mangli members, who reported to him who was there. Baba called the three, and Thade and Rangole supported Subhadra as they approached Baba. Looking at them from the veranda of the main house, Baba signaled to Rangole and Thade to let Subhadra go. Hesitatingly, they did so. Although Subhadra was a physical wreck, she somehow walked the distance to Baba and prostrated herself at his feet. I mean, she totally went down. But the point of view, weeping.
So in other words, here, let's set the scenario again. The Baidul and his disciples are trying to send her off.
Because
and suddenly Baba hears about it and says, let her come.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there was an order that no one should see him, he made an exception.
Yeah,
and he made an exception without even knowing who she is. Okay, so what happened?
Well, he knew who they were because they told him who would come to see him. She prostrated herself at his feet, weeping. After a few moments, Baba asked her, why have you come? For your darshan before dying, she answered. The doctor said, I cannot be saved, but now that I've seen you, I can die in peace. So what do you take me for? Baba sternly asked. Paramatma, she said. That's God the Father, the beyond God, the beyond soul. So as Paramatma, I tell you that you will not die. Have faith in me. Baba then advised her to catch the first bus to Pune and ordered her to take treatment for 2 months from the first doctor she came across. Return to Pune, re-enter another hospital and do exactly as the doctor tells you. He advised, take my name each time you take the medicine. I will be with you. You will get well. I tell you with divine authority that even if anyone were to take you and literally bang you against a stone, like the washermen do their clothes, you will not die. I mean, even if someone took you.
Yes, I know.
In Pune, Subhadra had been unable even to leave her bed. She returned there and, according to Baba's behest, took treatment and recovered completely.
Wow. You see, the thing is, people sometimes will say, Meher Baba always says, I don't perform miracles.
And he doesn't.
He doesn't, but this instance is sort of like one where, what occurred here?
She had the faith in his ability. When he told her, have faith in me, first he asked her, what do you take me for? Yeah. And she had total conviction that he was God in human form. And he said, so as Paramatma is God in human form, I tell you that you will not die, have faith in me. It is the faith of the individual that makes the process take place.
You know, we continue on now in the visits for him. There's another story here now of one Colonel Irani, who was the uncle of beloved Baba's most closest woman disciple, Mera. And there was a false rumor that there was something wrong with Mera and her demise had occurred.
It was an accident.
Yeah, and so due to the accident, she was traveling with Baba in this car, speeding across the United States at Prague, Oklahoma, on May 24, 1952, and she was injured very, very badly. A skull injury. And
gash in her skull.
Exactly. So the point is, but the word filtered down to Colonel Irani, her uncle, that she was actually
in the military in India,
and he was somewhat critical, I guess, of Baba from the past anyway. So now this gave him more ammunition. And so what occurred?
Well, Colonel Irani also wrote, meanwhile, an account of Baba's accident in America had been reported in the Times of India, the newspaper. As a result, A false rumor about Mehra's demise had reached the ears of Baba's bitterest opponent, Colonel M.S. Irani. He had the same initials as Meher Baba, Mehrbaan S. Irani. Mehra was the colonel's niece, so according to Baba's wish, the following telegram was sent to him: Mehra is alive. Love, blessings, Meher Baba. The colonel was Mehra's maternal uncle and Padri's maternal uncle. Padri was a cousin, a Mandli member was a cousin of Meher Baba. So Baba also sent Padri to Pune to assure him of Mehra's well-being. Padri arrived at his house at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but had to wait an hour to see him, so as he was napping. The colonel was taking a nap. The meeting took place at 4 o'clock, and Padri told him, Uncle, Mehra is all right. The rumor about her death is not true. What have I to do with it? He snapped. What have I to do with it? So he says, I've been sent to personally convey this news to you, Padri explained. Becoming upset, the colonel shouted, I do not need your news. What does Meher Baba think of himself? What right has he to send me his love blessings? He should accept my love blessings. If you give him your blessings, I am sure he will be overjoyed, Padri wryly observed. But giving a blessing will bind you, so you'd better think twice before offering it. The colonel was highly irritated, and writing a few choice unmentionables on the telegram received from Baba, he handed it back to Padri. What a love blessing, Padri thought. After talking with the colonel for a while, Padri returned to Mehrazad, where he delivered the colonel's missive. The colonel's two sisters, Daulat Mai, Mehra's mother, and Fraini Masi, Padri's mother, remained at Baba's feet until the end. But Baba used Colonel Irani as a medium for his work, which the colonel did in the form of hostile opposition to his last days. So you see, the colonel had a vendetta because his favorite niece was with Baba. He didn't want that. He wanted her to get married and have a regular life, a worldly life. So he was very much against Baba and opposed him. He wrote lots of letters in the newspapers condemning Baba and so on, against him. And yet Baba used the colonel's negativity and hostility against him as a positive by channeling it for his work. So this example is to show how Baba did not care for people, and he did not care for the negativity.
So it didn't matter, basically.
Well,
in fact, he would say sometimes that those who are
Baba stated
against me actually are doing my work.
Doing my work in a different way, but that he says God is also beyond good and evil. So negativity is there. People do good, people do bad, but it's part of the creation process.
That's great. And then you go on to another story now. I believe you jump a few pages to...
Did you get this picture?
Yeah, we got that. Then we go page, what,
3920.
And then we come to...
this is about realization, this story.
Yeah, realization. Well, didn't you say the journey of the soul?
Yeah, the way I understand it, okay? I mean, this is what he has written in God Speaks, and it's basically the philosophy in the East, in India. So he said, because realization is a term that's not in the West used. Realizing your soul, your own oneness with your...
A God realization.
Yeah. So he says realization is beyond the reach of anyone. It is possible to attain only if we happen to meet a perfect master. Realization is difficult because we have to be not what is within or without, but what we ourselves are in reality, not within or without. So you will come to know how difficult it is to be what we are, because every one of us is in a way a hypocrite. We justify ourselves in every way, whether right or wrong. Now let's see how difficult it is for those who follow different marga or paths. Jnana marga, which is the path of knowledge, Vedantists say it is God who is doing all this, whether good or bad. We, in fact, do nothing. Either God does it, or it may be the result of the law of karma. Hence, Vedantists are short of one thing. They assert their unity with God without experience. It's theory. It is right to say that whatever good or bad is done by God, but this lack of experience, unity with God, leads them astray. The bhakta or the devotee says right is right and wrong is wrong, but they get stuck in this habit, dry as dust. So they get embedded in the duality of right and wrong. So they say this is right, that's wrong, and so they get stuck. They get only a one-sided idea. In Yoga Marg, which is the path of self-mastery, when yogis taste a certain kind of bliss in samadhi, someone has just asked me what samadhi, like a trance, they are overpowered by it and become slaves of it. They forget the real goal, realization. Again, yogis get certain powers, occult powers, which are very deceptive. Even those who do japa, or silent repetition of God's name, derive certain powers. It is very difficult to resist them, and much more difficult to use them properly. Remember, there's a fall if you're on the fourth plane and you use these powers indiscriminately. Realization is very difficult because we have to see ourselves by being ourselves, and so for this there's only one remedy, and that is contact with a Sadguru or a perfect master. Even then you must annihilate yourself, meaning the mind. In short, you must lose yourself to find yourself, your higher self. Until then you cannot realize. So perform karma or actions not for you but for others. Try to forget yourself. Follow this to such an extent that you would have the state of absolute nakedness. Paradoxically, as it may seem, perform karma. Not to lose God, but to lose in God, to lose yourself in God. In the highest type of fana, which is a Sufi term meaning crossing over, the state of annihilation, there is divine vacuum. Your fana means complete losing of God, complete vacuum. In this state you are not there. God is not there, nothing is there, but as soon as there is no God, no individual, God comes back with all glory and you become realized. So that state is the nirvana state of the Buddhist doctrine.
The thing is, this...
nothing is, but God is not.
The thing is, this is something that takes many, many births, and that's probably to come to this
This
state.
is for an advanced soul. If with Herculean efforts a man loses himself 100%, he becomes a madzub. A madzub is one who becomes God, the first stage of God, the seventh plane. In this case, God is lost and found, but the life of God is not lived. If he regains his consciousness of the world, he lives the life of God. This is known as Jivan Mukta, and it's an intermediate state. He lives the life of God. Even while experiencing the lower fanas, you get bewildered, but instantaneously the vacuum is filled up. For the final fana, you have to make Herculean efforts for lives and lives. But once the final and mature moment arrives, the individual experiences divine vacuum or nirvana. 3 states of divine vacuum. First, this vacuum is simultaneously filled up, but in certain cases it so happens that before it is filled up, the link with the body is cut off. So the body just functions like an automaton. Second, in certain cases, the experience of divine vacuum and divine filling up is simultaneously, but it so happens that the link with the world becomes loose, or there is the shattering of this link. Now, they are not conscious of this world. They honestly do not know what they eat or drink, and after some days they drop their bodies. And thirdly, in very few cases, this link with the world is firmly retained. That is, it remains unaffected or bhakti, and these are the sadgurus or the perfect masters, which means the three stages. You can either break the link with the body, break the link with the world, and if you retain the link, then you have a mission to help other people gain that realization. Is that clear?
Well, the thing is, it's a remarkable experience for one to go through.
The soul goes, not the human body.
I mean, people have to realize that their body that they have is just a
vehicle.
It's temporary. I mean, the person. Everybody's got to realize there is no. I mean, death is only an illusion. There really is no death of the soul. So consciousness.
The soul is eternal and infinite.
What goes on after one drops the physical body? Consciousness is still there.
Consciousness is still there, and the impressions that you've gathered during your lifetime get sort of stored into the mind, the mental plane. But they need to be experienced and balanced out, and these are balanced out in the subtle plane after death, in the disembodied state.
So if a person is caught in this world, in the material world, is very successful and lives a very good life, and they think in their mind that there is only heaven or hell for them.
That is...
So what happens to them? Even though, in other words, are they surprised?
That's not what happens to them.
But I'm saying, are they surprised when they suddenly die?
They don't
and they
know
go,
what they...
Hello? See, they think that they're...
No, that becomes a sanskara, belief or faith in something. And they have to be balanced in the afterlife without the body. So when there's a near balancing of the sanskaras, whichever one predominates, a new birth takes place.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't know if you're an expert in afterlife theory, or if a person dies and they die with that thought that they were going to their Redeemer because they lived a good life, and they only feel they only have one life, what is their consciousness then in the afterlife?
The consciousness is there, but it is not the thought of going to your Redeemer. It's the activity or the actions you did in your previous life.
But what I'm trying to say, though, is...
Sanskara.
No, what I'm saying is, do they know that all of a sudden they realize, oh my, I'm dead physically, but I'm still alive, consciously? So they realize at that point that there is no death, per se. You follow what I'm trying to say is they've lost a connection with the physical, but then they still have consciousness, even though they have a physical body, and they're in that state between births. But they've been refuting all their life that there is such a thing as a coming back as a reincarnated soul. So what happens to their, are they instructed that, well, what you believed was false, that you're coming back?
They have no cognition of what they were told, and they don't hear anymore in the...
I see, okay.
So they don't, it's not like a surprise, there's no Redeemer, there's no heaven and else, a place to go. Heaven and hell are states of consciousness. They are where the good and the bad impressions are experienced in the subtle plane, and without the body limiting these experiences, so that extreme pleasure is like a state of heaven, extreme pain is like a state of hell. And it lasts for so long as the sanskaras need to be balanced. A thought may be a sanskara, it may be taken up into the afterlife, but there are so many sanskaras that they're like haze in a haystack.
So the thing is, strong Christian beliefs are that they've found the truth, they've found Jesus, and so they are free of anything to do with anything else. They're part of Jesus now. They found it.
They are deluded. According to what Baba says, this is what he says. What we have is religions, the fundamental religions. They have beliefs and they have faith. And they get people to believe in a story. This is where they're going to go, this is where they're going to go. Nobody's been beyond death to tell that story except for these masters. They have actually died to their mind. The mind is the one that generates this creation. through its imagination. The mind has to be given up eventually. The mind creates duality. Religions are created by the mind, not by God in beyond state. And so if you want to believe something, you want to believe it's a fairy tale. You can believe, there's a man in the moon. If you're told that there is a so-and-so when you're young, you're told lots of stories about realities, and they're not. When you grow up, you learn that they were not true.
So maybe is this why then they divide periods of advancement of consciousness? I know in the Vedanta tradition in the Bhagavad Gita, they call them yugas, Y-U-G-A-S.
Yugas are cycles of time.
Cycles of time, like they call it. Current time is now the Kali Yuga, which lasts 200,000-300,000 years.
That's from Vedanta.
Then you go to, you can even call it the Iron Age, and then we go to the Bronze Age for 200,000-300,000 years, and then there's the Silver Age, which is 200,000-300,000 years, and then the Golden Age. So the idea of it is, when man will realize the divinity within him, it's the Golden Age, to where man will look upon man, woman, child, whatever, as all divinity personified. That'll be the Golden Age. So apparently now people have their own, like you were just saying, their own delusions.
Their own interpretation of what is beyond.
What they feel is beyond. But there is, in other words, there is an inalienable truth that runs through all of us that's the same. But of course we are, I see we just got 1 minute, so can you summarize something before we leave?
What I'm saying is these are all religious beliefs. They're ways or paths to get to God. Baba says he is God in human form, and this is what he says. So all those little things, I don't know whether they're valid or not, but nobody in those religious beliefs has gone beyond into the afterlife and come back and told them this is the way it is.
Great. Well, that's a good way to... As Baba says,
don't worry, be happy.
Thank you, Suhas. We'll see you next week for part 2, or actually it'll be part 6 of this series on this particular volume of Lord Meher. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.